It's time for number 85 in my Best Picture Marathon. Best Picture Marathon theme song. Well, for the second year in a row, we have a Best Picture winner that features John Goodman playing a character who works in the movie industry. Argo was released in 2012 by Warner Brothers, with a screenplay by Chris Terrio and based on a true story. Argo takes place in the aftermath of the Iranian Revolution of 1979, when 66 Americans were taken hostage at the American Embassy in Tehran, Iran. 6 U.S. diplomats managed to escape, and CIA exfiltration expert Tony Mendez comes up with a crazy plan to get those 6 out. Mendez, played by the film's director and producer Ben Affleck, recruits famous Hollywood makeup artist John Chambers, played by John Goodman, to help set up a production company for a fake science fiction film called Argo. Mendez will go into Iran posing as an associate producer, with the 6 diplomats posing as other members of the crew, and escape from Iran using that as cover. The cast also includes Bryan Cranston, Alan Arkin, Tate Donovan, Clea Duvall, Victor Garber, Kyle Chandler, with brief appearances by Philip Baker Hall and Richard Kind, who I always love seeing in stuff. Argo was a huge success at the box office and went on to win 3 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Editing. Controversially, Ben Affleck was not nominated for Best Director. This is one of the extremely rare times that a Best Picture winner did not get a Best Director nomination. Argo generally received great reviews, with many critics putting it on their top 10 list for the year. But of course, there were some criticisms. As with any movie that's based on a true story, there are elements of history that have been condensed or exaggerated or totally fabricated for the movie, which is just part of the process. This isn't a documentary. There was also criticism of the way Iranian people were depicted in the movie. Most of them are just militant villains who are out to kill Americans, or are simply background extras, whereas in real life there were quite a few Iranians, including members of the government, who were calling for the hostages to be released. One of the biggest historical criticisms the movie got was that it seemed to glorify the CIA, while massively downplaying the role of the Canadian government and Canadian intelligence in the conception and execution of this plan. There's kind of a postscript at the end that says, hey, what a great collaboration between the US and Canada, but we don't really see a whole lot of that in the movie. When I first saw Argo in the theater, I loved it. I thought it was a great thriller. It was very suspenseful. It was well shot. It was well edited. The performances were generally very good. I laughed at the funny parts. I was tense during the thrilling parts, and I was enthralled by the trickery of the situation. It's essentially a caper film, and it's structured almost as if they're pulling off a heist to get these people out. But now that I know how the magic trick works, with each subsequent viewing, I find that the film doesn't really have a lot to say. That doesn't mean I think Argo's a bad movie. I generally like the film. I just don't think it was necessarily the best movie of 2012. There were plenty of other good movies nominated that year, including Life of Pi, Beasts of the Southern Wild, Django Unchained, and Steven Spielberg's Lincoln. As a James Bond fan, I'm also partial to Skyfall. I do love some of the short film winners that year. The animated short Paperman and the live-action short Curfew are both terrific. Okay, that's it for Argo. Next up, another historical drama, 12 Years a Slave. I'll see you then.